You know what really gets me going? A clown with small shoes. This is Funny Like a Clown podcast. I am your host, Dennis Wirth, episode 79, September 29th, 2020. And, man, we're approaching the big 100th episode. Who am I going to get on? I don't know, man. A big surprise with the 100th episode? Hey, let's do something big for Funny Like a Clown podcast. Why not? You want to do something big? Let's talk about a groundbreaking comedian right here, right now. Activist, comedian, movie actor, author, all around good gal, Wanda Sykes. As always, Funny Like a Clown podcast brought to you by G Vegas Buffalo Sauce. For the spicy, sweet, savory taste at game time, there's only one G Vegas available at www.gvegas.webs.com. You can go there, man. Get some buffalo sauce shipped right to your house. They're starting to play games again, okay? You know, there's no crowds. We got crowds with no games, but we got buffalo sauce, right? Nothing better, man. Little pizza, little buffalo wing, watch the game, a few beers. You know, that's what you do. Why not? Let's see. Do your thing, just like this gal did her thing. Wanda Sykes. First became noticed as a writer on the Chris Rock Show and won a Primetime Emmy Award as a writer for the writing group in 1999. So, yeah, you know, a lot of people, think everybody gets their start as a comedian on stage. Well, sometimes you start as a writer. And, when you do all these late night talk shows, man, it's like, you're doing these 5 nights a week, okay? No comedian in the world can write enough jokes to be on 5 days a week. So what you do is you get a staff. You get a writing staff. You get comedy writers who write jokes for you. They hand in your jokes and you do them on TV. So they're not all your own creations. They're not all your own jokes because there's just too much time to fill to come up with that many jokes on your own that are actually killer funny jokes, okay? So you hire a team once you hit that level. She was part of the Chris Rock team, and if you do a good job as part of the team, you move ahead in comedy, you get your own shot, and then you get your own team in there. That's how it works, okay? Entertainment Weekly voted her one of the 25 funniest people in America, and that's really saying something, man. Now, this ain't the 25 of all time, obviously. You can't put Carlins and Pryors in there because they're passed away, so. But even, out of the comics today, could you think of 25 that are funnier than Wanda Sykes? I mean, that's putting yourself in some pretty good category right there. The 25, funniest people right now doing comedy. Not bad company to be in. Let's see. I'll put her in the female category. Sure, female category. Mix her in with the guys. Sure, maybe top 25. Maybe right in there somewhere. Why not? She's a working comic. See, she gets to get paid to do what she loves to do, while other of us we got to go to work and do what we love to do on the side. Okay, but as long as you're having fun, you never work a day in your life. That's what it's all about. Having fun, right there. Let's see. She was on the CBS television show The Adventures of Old Christine from 2006 to 2010. HBO's Curb Your Enthusiasm 2001 to 11. ABC's Backlash 2015 till present day. Today she's still on that. And how'd you like to have those on your resume? CBS, HBO, ABC. Yeah, there's a few names you heard growing up, huh? And, hey, when all the big networks want you, you're at the top of your game right there. And I guess, 2015 to present, 2006, 2010, those are some long-running roles that she was on some bigger shows. Let's see, did some film work. Monster-in-Laws in 2005. My Super Ex-Girlfriend 2006. Evan Almighty in 2007. And License to Wed also in 2007. And so she's doing the TV thing. She's doing the film thing. What's left? Hey, you do a little bit of voiceover work. That's a big thing. I can never stress that. Everybody just, I don't want to do a commercial. Well, commercials pay you big bucks, and that's a stepping stone to bigger stuff. Or if you do a cartoon, there's such safe things to do if you do a cartoon. Because how many cartoons, Bob? You're always looking. The kids are always looking to go to see a cartoon at the movies, and if you're a good parent, you're obligated to find the hot, cartoon to bring them to. So, geez, I don't know. Toy Story with Buzz Lightyear, Ice Age. I mean, these are all just, the B movie with Jerry Seinfeld. All the comedians do them because they are safe moves. And, hey, she was in a few. Over the Hedge in 2006. Barnyard also in 2006. Brother Bear 2 also in 2006. A little busy frickin' year for Wanda Sykes in 2006, apparently. Let's see. Rio in 2011, and as we messaged, Ice Age Continental Divide in 2012, and Ice Age, another one in 2011, and also Ugly Dolls in 2019. Did a lot of voiceover work there, and people don't realize when you're on stage and you're jumping around, okay, and if you really get in, you can't just tell a joke. Everybody thinks, oh, you stand there and tell jokes. You gotta sell a joke, okay? It's not just the words coming out of your mouth, it's the expression on your face. It's the enthusiasm you put in, I mean, look at Monday Night Football, if you said, it's Monday Night Football, or, it's Monday Night Football! Which one are you gonna be interested in? The second was, because you gotta sell it, okay? You're selling a joke, not just telling it. And, so if you got to work that hard at that, and I've done some acting, man, and it's like, these directors, okay, they're geniuses, they do what they do, but they want you to do it 15 times, okay? When you're doing the same scene 15 times, and they take the best take, from each scene and splice it all together. I get what they do, but it's a lot of work. I remember the first short film I did, I was on my legs all day. At the end of the day, I said, I'll never do this again. It was so much work, but then when you watch the film, that's the payoff. Okay, I'll do it again, because it came out wicked good, even if I had to put that much work in. Where voiceover work, I mean, yeah, it's work, but I mean, I could imagine just like this podcast, I sit in a chair and talk to you guys, all right? I'm not jumping around a stage. I'm not acting on my feet all day. I'm currently doing a film now, and we did most of the action scenes in one day, and the next day I woke up sore from head to toe. I could barely move, okay? That's how much goes into acting. So, love to do some voiceover work. I got to look into getting into some cartoons or something. That'd be a cool move for your career right there. Probably nothing as big as Wanda Sykes, but who knows? Maybe someday, if I live to be old and gray. She went to Hampton University, where she earned a bachelor's degree in marketing, which, in comedy, again, it's not just telling jokes, man. You got to market yourself, You got to be on all the social medias. You got to have a website. You got to print up posters. You got to do advertising, be in the newspaper. You got to sell yourself. Why does anybody want to come out and see you? Because you're marketing yourself. So I'm sure that helped her out in her comedy career immensely. Okay, if you got a bachelor's degree in how to market yourself, that's a good marketing strategy. She started out after she left college at a national security agency where she actually worked for 5 years. So everybody think, oh, Wanda was a big star forever. No, she was just like me and you, working a regular 9-to-5 job at the National Security Agency. It wasn't enough. I mean, yeah, I work at a restaurant, it's not enough, okay? I do get entertained at the restaurant. Some of these customers that come in, they're like, keep me laughing all day, but, it wasn't enough, man. I do comedy on the side, and she wanted to do more than just work at the security agency. 1987, she tried out for the Coors Light Super Talent Showcase in Washington, D.C., and a gutsy move, man, because, usually people start out, at your local open mic, and you work out a routine. It was her first time performing in front of a live audience at the Super Talent Contest. After that contest, she continued on locally, and, she started hitting the open mics and the local shows till 1992 when she made the big move, and everybody's going to make the decision, do you want to stay local or do you really want to go for it, okay, she moved to New York City, which, New York and L.A., those are the two meccas. If you want to do comedy, that's where you're going to get discovered. Is it a tough scene? Oh, yeah, a lot of people go out there and they tuck tail back home because they can't handle it, okay? It's not for the weak-hearted, okay? I know a couple of comics around Boston who moved out of there, really got kicked around and beat down, and said, you know what, I'm going back to the local scene because it's a much easier scene, and came back home. Hey, if you're out there in New York or LA and you're sleeping on park benches and don't know where your next meal's going to come from, well, if you go for it, you may hit it big, and that's when you drive the Lamborghinis and Ferraris if you're willing to put up with that kind of, emptiness to get to what you want. But some people can't put up with it. They end up coming back home. Moved to New York City. She went for it, man. Can you just imagine like selling everything? Just I'm gonna sell everything and just move to New York City and go for comedy. It's just a gutsy move right there. Leave your family and friends behind. Leave behind your work. Don't know what's gonna happen, but hey, worked out for her, man. Early on, she got on TV's Def Comedy Jam in the '90s, and I remember I watched that a few nights, and it was like I'm a late night person. I don't do that morning shit, but I'm up all night. I think it was like 2 in the morning. I remember the Def Comedy Jam would come on. I'm like, who the hell's watching comedy at 2 in the morning? But maybe it was a rerun. Maybe they ran at 10 or 2 in the morning, or maybe that wasn't its prime time thing. But I did watch a few. Was a good show. I guess her big break came when she opened up for Chris Rock at Caroline's Comedy Club in New York. I guess she finally worked her way up to get noticed and opened for Chris Rock. Made a friendship with him, which my big break came. I started a local television show called The Comedy Kitchen, and I had on some pretty big names on the local comedy scene. But a friend of mine got me in touch with the king of Boston comedy, Steve Sweeney. He agreed to come on, and once he agreed to come on, then the other big stars followed, okay? Because nobody wanted to do it. I remember I get in touch with Tom Cotter and his wife Carrie Louise from America's Got Talent. They're like, well, I don't know. Who else has done it? Well, Steve Sweeney did. Steve Sweeney did it? Yeah, we'll be down. We'll do it. So once I had Steve Sweeney on, that really opened the door for bigger people to do it. So that was my big break. Her big break, got to open for Chris Rock. Made a friendship with him. And Steve did. Steve, he continued. He helped me pitch the show to the Food Network. Which, I never dreamed I'd get picked up, but just having it pitched was just cool to be a part of anyway. 1997, Chris actually brought her on to become a writer on the Chris Rock Show, where we mentioned earlier was where she got noticed as a writer on that show. So open for the guy, hit it off with the guy. They're mingling backstage. Hey, I like your act. You made me laugh. I'm going to help you. But it's a responsibility. We said that before. It's a really, if you're a big name comic, it's up to you to bring the next generation forward. It's not just, out of the kindness of my heart. No. It's a responsibility to bring up the young comics. And it's getting tougher because most of the young comics don't want to listen. But I was smart enough when I get started. I listened to the comics ahead of me where, the comics today hitting open mic saying, nah, man, I'm going to tell you how to get things done. Go hit your open mic, kid. Have fun. And you might want to listen. You might actually get more done. But, once she became a writer on that show, she actually made the occasional live appearance on the show from being a writer. So Chris was bringing her on and, let her be a guest a few times on a few episodes. And that's early on exposure for you right there. After she won her award, 2003, she was given her own short-lived sitcom on the Fox network, Wanda at Large. Didn't work out for her, and, she's not the only one. She got her big break and she didn't make it. Dennis Miller had his own late night talk show. Chevy Chase had it. Joan Rivers had it. They all bombed too. Late night or any talk show, not an easy market to make, and there's a whole lot more that failed than there are that made it. So she was good enough to get the opportunity, and she got it, and she made the most of it, and she didn't disappear. She stuck around, That's hats off to Joan Rivers. They said that what's the best thing about Joan Rivers' career? She was a survivor. How many times did she have to reinvent herself before she became a legend of comedy? So maybe Wanda Sykes has to reinvent herself and have a few failures, have a few successes. Everybody's had failures and successes. The ones who don't give up, those are the ones who go on to succeed. So I booked some of the biggest shows in central Massachusetts for comedy. You think I didn't get my ass kicked a few nights? I never know if it's going to be 300 people or 3, okay? But you put up with the 3 people nights and you live for the 300 people nights. Hey, all part of the game. She was given her own hour-long Comedy Central special. Comedy Central, that was the thing at the time. I know everything's going to Netflix now, the internet thing, but I mean, back then, Comedy Central was the place to be doing a comedy special. Totally United was the name of it, and let's see, Comedy Central voted her number 70 on the 100 greatest comedians of all time, and I've said before, that list, the 100 greatest comedians of all time, that's like the backbone of this show that I'm doing. I'm trying to review all these comedians who've been on that list because I mean, if you did it, that was a long time ago. That was before all the next generation of hot comics now came along. So I'm sure the list would change a whole lot if you did it now. But I mean, for back then, those were the ones, the legends we grew up on. So I'm sticking on that list. Have gone off it a few times, but hey, we're still listening to it. She was a correspondent for HBO's Inside the NFL. She hosted Comedy Central's Premium Blend. One of my personal favorites. She was on Crank Yankers on Comedy Central, and man, there were a lot of big names on that thing. I remember Dave Chappelle did it. There's a lot of big names on there, and I remember she played a woman with a lot of questions. I guess that was her character, basically, a woman who's got a lot of dumb questions and irritating questions, and just but she leads you on and leads you on where you have to deal with her, but you don't really want to deal with her, and I guess she actually made it my favorite role that she's ever done that I've seen her in. She was in the movie Snatched with Amy Schumer. Amy brought into her, to be on the movie with her, and you always bring your friends along with you in comedy because that's who you want to work with, and they're just going to make you better because they're talented too. But she played a woman where just she thought she knew everything and she didn't know jack shit. And I remember my son wanted to go to a week-long Boy Scout thing, and you could either pay for him to go or you could volunteer to be a leader. And I love doing stuff with my son, so I volunteered to be a leader. And you had to take a half-hour class to get trained to go out there and lead the kids. And well, during this class there was this one lady. Just every time something the person said something, so yeah, I got a quick story I want to tell you, and it's like she made this half-hour class turn into like an hour-and-a-half class because she wouldn't shut up, and you just wanted to jump up and say, "Would you shut the fuck up already?" But so that's the kind of character she plays, that kind of character that just thinks she knows everything, babbles on, and you don't want to listen to her. But it's an art style, it's an art form. She turned it into something funny. Let's see. She also did Wanda Does It, another short-lived sitcom on Comedy Central. So hey, Comedy Central, that was the place to be at the time, and she was involved with it. She's also an author. She wrote Yeah, I Said It in 2004. Some of the smaller things she was invited to do, but these were some of the top shows. If they're inviting you to make a guest appearance, then that means you're wanted. And when you're a wanted comedian, it's a good thing. She guest starred on Will and Grace. Her first HBO special came, Wanda Sykes' Sick and Tired, which was Emmy-nominated comedy series. Again, HBO comes calling, Comedy Central comes calling. These are the big things of the time, man. She actually performed in Cyndi Lauper's True Colors tour for the LGBT Rights Act. In 2008, she appeared in the campaign Think Before You Speak, aimed at curbing the homophobic slangs of the time, using humor to teach teenagers, to think before you speak, instead of saying, "Oh, that's so gay," try to say, "Hey, that's so bad," because you're not offending anybody, okay? It's not good to offend anybody. I mean, if you're joking around is one thing, but if you're saying it as a hateful thing, then that's not cool, okay? There's enough hate in the world. We don't need hate, we need more love. She's teaching people more love and less hate, and that's a good thing, man. Using her celebrity status to spread awareness, and, I do that too. I'm a father's rights activist. I truly believe children deserve both of their parents equally, and I use my humor. A lot of my jokes I do are aimed around, spreading awareness to the system that needs to change, and apparently she's using her humor to do the same thing, trying to change things for the better, get things that need to change and make them change. 2009, she was number 35 on the annual 50 Power list of Out magazine. So, hey, an activist right there. She's making it count, making the most of her celebrity status, trying to make the world a better place. 2009, she was asked to do the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where she was the featured entertainer, and not everybody gets invited to the White House. Even if you're a big famous comedian, you're not invited to the White House. You never seen Andrew Dice Clay at the White House, have you? Because he don't fit the quota over there. So she kept it clean, she kept it fun-loving, she kept it family-oriented. You're never going to see me at the White House, okay? Because that don't happen. I may do a few rehab centers or something, I don't know, but probably never be at the White House. But she was featured entertainer. And how's this for some groundbreaking stuff? She was not only the first African-American woman invited to be feature entertainer at the White House. She was also the first openly LGBT person to be featured. Breaking ground. This woman's just breaking all kinds of barriers here. And I remember Jackie Robinson, the first black baseball player, broke ground. Well, this woman's breaking some ground, following his footsteps, trying to make the world a better place. Cool stuff. Her second HBO special came in 2009, I'ma Be Me. And, yeah, you know, well, I'm sure HBO must have paid her something to get on there, but I mean, it's not what it used to be where you can put out a comedy album and make money off of that. You know, nowadays you got to put out free specials and make up for it on your ticket sales, because that's the world we live in, the .com age, where you can't have anything free with the online status anymore. People are sharing it up for free. Let's see, 2013, she was on Amazon's Alpha House, and I always thought that was funny. Amazon's got their own movie company. You know, you can buy a blender for your kitchen on Amazon, or you can watch a movie, whatever you want to do. So, kind of funny if you ask me, but I guess Amazon's got a lot going on, man. They've become the place to be. A lot of people got shows on there, and even I mentioned the movie that I'm making now, The World Needs a New Superhero. The director for that show, some of his other movies are actually, he's got them on Amazon, so it's the place to be. The internet, Netflix, Amazon, where you going, Hulu, I don't know. I'm plugging everybody here on my podcast because, hey, that's the world we live in. Television's become a thing of the past. Let's see. Here's one I didn't know about her till I studied up for this podcast here, man, and this is a cool one. 2018, she was asked to be the head writer for the revived series Roseanne. And Roseanne Barr, one of the female legends of comedy. That'd be like, you know, that'd be like me getting a phone call, you know, hey, you want to be head writer on Andrew Dice Clay's newest series? I'm like, yeah, I really do. Yeah, I really do. You know, I'm like, I'd be in shock, man. I get to work with one of my comedy heroes, and I'm sure, you know, she got to work with one of her comedy heroes, Roseanne, which is a cool thing, be head writer on the show. And again, goes back to her writing talent. You're a talented writer, they're going to come calling. Unfortunately, in 2018, she left the show after Roseanne's famous Twitter rant where she went off on this big political rant. She wasn't the only people. A lot of people who left that show. I remember Whitney Cummings was one of the, not lead writer, but she was one of the writers on the show too. And she left the show. It just turned into a big old nightmare over there at the Roseanne Barr show. And I think Roseanne got a real bad rap on that, man. I really do. But you know, it's easy for you to sit here and judge her. Well, if you're a famous star and everybody's, you know, watching every single word you say, you're going to slip up. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's going to be... Boy, if we slip up, nobody notices. If Roseanne slips up, it's major freaking news, you know. You can be a good person 99 times out of 100, but that 100th time you slip up, that's what they're going to remember you for. And that's the sad world we live in right there. But I wasn't a part of the show. I don't know what happened, but would have been nice, you know, if people would have stuck by her. But I guess when you see the writing on the wall, if somebody's going down, you don't want to go down with them, you jump ship. So you got to do what's best for you, not what's best for them. Let's see. She was also married to a record producer in 1991 to 1998. So they got divorced. In 2008, she publicly came out as a lesbian at a same-sex rally in Las Vegas. And you know, that goes back to her work with the you know, the lesbian community, and you know, trying to get rid of homophobic slang, and you know, trying to get rid of hate. More love. World needs more love, less hate. So, and you know, if she, you know, using your celebrity status to try to make the world a better place, that's, you know, that's a good thing, because, you know, a lot of people get celebrity status and they just, you know, buy Ferraris and they buy planes and big houses, and they forget to give back. They're on a lifelong party and they forget, you know, give back to what got you there, man, okay? Because the people got you there, give back to the people. 2011, she announced on the Ellen DeGeneres show she had a non-invasive stage 0 breast cancer, so it wasn't affecting her at the time, but she was diagnosed with having it. And she had surgery to remove it to lower her chances of actually getting it, which smart move right there, because you don't want to take any chances on getting that stuff. And, you know, again, Ellen DeGeneres show, one of the top shows at the time. Old Ellen's having her own problems right now, but at the time it was one of the top shows. She splits time living in Los Angeles, Pennsylvania, and New York, so even if she's not got her own prime time television show. She's got 3 homes all over the country. She ain't hurting for cash, and a lot of people are loving this woman. Some of the stuff you probably didn't know she was in, but The Nutty Professor 2, The Muppets, who didn't grow up watching The Muppets, The Drew Carey Show, one of the great sitcoms of all time, The Chappelle Show with Dave Chappelle's asking her on, Mad TV, The Simpsons. How many times we brought up The Simpsons on this podcast? How do you say no to The Simpsons? If it's like Saturday Night Live. They come calling, you have to say yes because it's such a legendary show. Longest running cartoon of all time. They've had, I think, every big name comedian I've done a podcast on, they've had on. So hats off to the Simpsons. Scooby-Doo, another one of the all-time classic cartoons. Everybody wants this woman. Everybody wants to be a piece of what she's doing. And yeah, she had a couple of flops. We've all had a couple of flops. We've all had a couple of successes. But she stayed relevant, just like Joan Rivers. She may have had to reinvent herself a few times. She stayed relevant. She stayed in the game. We're in the game. This is the game. This is Funny Like a Clown podcast. I'm your host, Dennis Wirth. Go out, tell one of your friends a joke tomorrow, and if you tell them a joke, they're going to tell that joke to somebody else, and it's going to be like a big chain effect. Everybody's going to hear that joke in the neighborhood. You're spreading laughter. Laughter is the best medicine. Keep everybody happy, because the world is a depressing place. Be like Wanda Sykes. Take some initiative. Make the world a better place. Go out and do some good tomorrow. Don't do any bad. And we'll talk about the good we're doing all week on the next podcast next week. Till then, keep laughing. Good night.